executive producer to have a competing cut of a film is incredibly bizarre. But when she starts threatening people and saying, I'm not going to promote the film, I'm not going to do anything unless you use my cut, that's when it starts to be awfully incendiary.
Because so often we see births in movies and TV, and they just look so fake. It's like a 3-month-old baby that comes out. And I just wanted it to feel very real.
Think about this. On what could have been one of the most beautiful nights of my life, career-wise, I literally was sent to the basement with all my friends and family for over an hour because I wasn't allowed to be seen. She didn't want me anywhere near her or the rest of the cast. So they ushered me off the carpet and they sent us down to the basement.
And in August 5th of 2024, Justin invites the editors to the premiere, but they can't be in the same room with Blake. Justin replies, "We won't be in the same room. I was asked not to even come to the premiere." And the editors say, "It would be very hard for me to sit and watch the final film for the first time at the premiere." And Justin replies, "Okay, yeah, I haven't seen it either."
Which is just an example of how she loves to play the victim. And then the one about, he burst in on me uninvited when I was breastfeeding my child. She says we should run lines together. He's like, anytime. And she's like, come on over. I'm breastfeeding the baby in the trailer, but come on over. So it's written there, black and white. She invited him in, and a lot of women are comfortable having someone around when they breastfeed, so it's not so weird, especially out in Hollywood.
Ooh, looks like Blake Lively might be in some real hot water. Megyn Kelly ain't holding back, and she's been out here exposing every single lie Blake's ever told. The receipts Megyn's been dropping, baby, they're demolishing whatever little defense Blake had left.
I will happily participate in releasing any further leaks that they have because the truth should be out there. What does she have to fear if she's telling the truth?
But you can rest assured that based on the investigation we've done, the text messages we have, the receipts that'll go along with that complaint, she's dead in the water.
Megyn Kelly ain't playing no games, y'all. She's bringing in her own lawyer to lay down some rock-solid proof that Blake's been bending the truth since day one. But hold up, here's the kicker. Blake's whole motive? It might be way more shady and self-serving than we ever thought. The plot thickens, honey.
And it's just disgusting when you go after someone, you try to destroy their life. And actually the evidence shows something different. Blake Lively was no victim here. She was in control, she was in power, and she took over this film.
Baby, Blake's been playing the game dirty. She's been pulling out all the stops, from leaning on her girl Taylor Swift and hubby Ryan Reynolds to put the squeeze on Justin Baldoni, to allegedly threatening producers with a full-on boycott if they didn't bow to her crazy demands. It's starting to look less like some little creative squabble and more like one big strategic power grab.
As often happens when these stars drop a movie, people start digging around for other interviews of them, etc. And it was just sort of a course of, wow, like, she seems like kind of a jerk. Wow, she's like kind of a bully. She's rather mean.
Oh, honey, this mess is way deeper than just some sexual harassment lawsuit. What are we seeing now? Blake Lively might have had a whole master plan from the jump. By now, we all know she accused Justin Baldoni of sexual harassment and even tried to claim he was out here running a smear campaign against her. But here's the twist. Justin clapped back with his own lawsuit, saying Blake was actually the one behind the smear tactics. But trust, this goes so much deeper than what's on the surface. Before we get into the freshly leaked tea, let's rewind and see where this drama truly kicked off. This Hollywood blow-up didn't just happen overnight, y'all. It's been simmering for a minute. It all started when Blake's reputation began to take a nosedive. And no, it had nothing to do with Justin Baldoni. Despite her claims, Blake wasn't the victim of some big Hollywood conspiracy. Nah, sis was the one who built her own downfall. Let me break it down. When she was out here on the press tour for It Ends With Us, fans started peeping something was off with Blake. The way she was acting in interviews, the attitude, her whole public image, yeah, it wasn't hitting right. Of course, the internet being the internet, they started digging into old interviews to see if this was a recent change or if this mess had been going on for longer. And baby, what they uncovered, it wasn't cute.
Literally removing text in between text and emojis to sort of make it sound worse.
Oh, you better believe Blake was out here scrambling to save face. So what does she do? She hops right on that defensive horse and, like clockwork, does what Hollywood does best, shifts the blame. Instead of owning up to anything, She straight up pointed the finger at Justin Baldoni and his PR team, accusing them of plotting some big smear campaign against her. But wait, it gets juicier. No celebrity meltdown is complete without a picture-perfect PR move, right? So Blake took it up a notch and ran straight to the New York Times. Now that move, it was a full-on please love me again publicity stunt. She used that NYT piece to flip the script, turning Justin into the villain and herself into this poor, defenseless victim of Hollywood's ruthless cruelty. But guess what? The tea is hot, and now we know the NYT was out here playing dirty too. They doctored those text messages, cut out key details, and twisted the whole story to make Justin look bad. Oh yes, this wasn't just biased reporting. This was a full-blown hit piece, honey. And now the receipts are out, and they are not looking cute for Blake. But hold up, don't this all sound a little too familiar? If you're feeling that deja vu, baby, you're not the only one.
She has made herself into the new Amber Heard, and he is the new Johnny Depp.
Oh, now this is where it gets really messy. Y'all remember when Amber Heard pulled the exact same stunt on Johnny Depp back in 2018? She ran straight to the sun with a whole hit piece, painting Johnny as the villain and herself as the innocent victim. Well, history is straight up repeating itself, because guess who's crawling out of the shadows to back Blake? Yep, you guessed it, Amber Heard. But here's the real tea. Blake just made a huge mistake by copying Amber's playbook. I mean, we all saw how that story ended for Amber. Her lies got exposed in court, her career crashed and burned, and she was left looking like a whole mess. So if Blake thinks she's about to rewrite history with the same old strategy, baby, she might want to take a second look at how that whole thing played out for Amber. It's not looking too good, sis.
And now he's going full Johnny Depp on her to show that she was the bully, she was the one harassing him, and this guy who had, comparatively very little power was forced now to come out and tell the truth about Blake Lively.
Baby, just like Amber, Blake's biggest mistake was thinking we're all fools out here, that will just swallow whatever narrative she's trying to sell. She's out here claiming that Justin and his PR team are the ones making her look bad in interviews, but let's keep it 100. No PR spin is needed when the footage does all the talking. We got eyes, sis. We see how she treats people. We see how cold, rude, and dismissive she is to interviewers. And if you think I'm exaggerating, just peep this. When an interviewer congratulated her on her pregnancy, Blake hit her with a mocking, "Congrats on your little bump," to a woman who wasn't even pregnant. But wait, hold up, it gets worse. That same interviewer had struggled with infertility in the past, so not only was Blake's comment rude as hell, it was downright insensitive.
Just really loved those patchwork jeans that you have.
Magnolia Pearl.
Oh, yeah.
Those are my real life jeans.
Yeah, a lot of that is your stuff.
The boots were mine.
I love
there's these great Louboutins that are also a close-up on them when we're dancing in the bar. Those are mine. I have a few of my husband's shirts and socks randomly in the movie. I have some of Gigi Hadid's sweaters in the movie.
Oh, honey, we can all see how Blake turns everything into a me show. Take this one, for example. She was asked about her husband, but instead of talking about him, she somehow made it all about her hair care line. Like, sis, we get it. You're trying to hustle. But can we talk about something other than your business for once? The self-obsession is real.
What an incredible summer you're having. I feel like you poured a lot into this movie, but then you turned around and you were just as supportive of Ryan. What is it like to...
And my hair care company, Blake Brown, my goodness gracious. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy week. I haven't slept in a lot of time.
It's no surprise her fans are turning on her now. Just like how Johnny Depp's legal team tore Amber Heard apart, Justin Baldoni's lawyer is gearing up to drag Blake Lively all the way down.
Are you going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit.
Oh boy.
Like we said earlier, this wasn't just a last-ditch effort by Blake to save face. Oh no, baby. This might have been part of her whole calculated plan from the jump to snatch Justin Baldoni's movie right out of his hands. And you know the receipts don't lie. There's a whole pile of text messages flying between Justin, Blake, the producers, and the editors that are spelling out her intentions like a neon sign. Sis thought she could play the game, but now her moves are all coming to light.
Is that she used these allegations of sexual harassment and she used these allegations of bullying to try and leverage her position so she could be the de facto director in the case.
Oh, and let's not forget, Justin Baldoni wasn't just the lead actor. He was also the writer and director of the film. So imagine his shock when he found out that Blake had secretly put together her own director's cut of the movie, and she kept that mess under wraps from everyone. Sis really thought she was about to rewrite the whole thing and pull some strings behind the scenes like nobody would notice. Well, guess what, Blake? We all see you.
For an executive producer to have a competing cut of a film is incredibly bizarre, but when she starts threatening people and saying, I'm not going to promote the film, I'm not going to do anything unless you use my cut, that's when it starts to be awfully awfully incendiary.
Oh, but hold up. That's not even the worst of it. Justin was straight up blindsided when he found out Blake's hubby, Ryan Reynolds, had secretly been out here writing scenes for the film. Like, excuse me? That's not just inappropriate, it's straight up shady. And all of it went down without Justin's knowledge or approval. And get this, remember that iconic rooftop scene? Yeah, Ryan Reynolds wrote that. Blake went ahead and spilled that tea herself, saying, "My husband actually wrote it." Well, now we all know, sis. And let's not forget, on top of all that, Justin was literally shoved into the basement with his friends and family during the premiere of his own film. Can you say disrespectful?
Think about this. On what, could have been one of the most beautiful nights of my life career-wise, I literally was sent to the basement with all my friends and family for over an hour because I wasn't allowed to be seen. She didn't want me anywhere near her or the rest of the cast. So they ushered me off the carpet and they sent us down to the basement.
And in August 5th of 2024, Justin invites the editors to the premiere, but they can't be in the same room with Blake. Justin replies, "We won't be in the same room. I was asked not to even come to the premiere." And the editors say, "It would be very hard for me to sit and watch the final film for the first time at the premiere." And Justin replies, "Okay, yeah, I haven't seen it either."
Oh, this just keeps getting messier and messier. It's crystal clear now. Blake was trying to take full control of that film and keep all the spotlight on her. But honey, the tables are finally starting to turn, and it's not looking good for Blake. Justin's lawyer? Oh, they're about to drop a whole mountain of receipts on her. The truth is coming, and it's gonna hit her like a ton of bricks. Buckle up, because this drama is just getting started.
But we'll see what the documents actually say, because that's what we have are documents. Documents actually don't lie. People do. And it's important that everyone sees all of the documents that are involved in the case, because there are people that have been destroyed as a result of the allegations that have been made so far in this case.
All right, let's dive into the mess, shall we? Blake went and accused Justin of invading her personal space, saying he showed up uninvited while she was undressed and breastfeeding her baby. But hold up, newly leaked text messages are completely flipping the script on that story. Turns out, Blake was the one who invited Justin to her trailer while she was pumping milk for her baby. And don't just take my word for it. Check out the proof, honey. Blake's own message is right there in black and white. What's even more telling? Justin's response. He wasn't in any rush to go over while she might have been in a vulnerable moment. This all points to one thing. Blake set the boundaries and called the shots on what she was comfortable with. So yeah, that whole invading her space thing, it's not adding up.
Which is just an example of how she loves to play the victim. And then the one about, oh, he burst in on me uninvited when I was breastfeeding my child, that she says we should run lines together. He's like, anytime. And she's like, come on over. I'm breastfeeding the baby in the trailer, but come on over. So it's like, it's written there, black and white. She invited him in, and a lot of women are comfortable having someone around when they breastfeed. So it's not so weird, especially out in Hollywood.
Ooh, now it gets even juicier. Blake accused Jamie Heath, the lead producer and Justin Baldoni's close friend, of showing her some highly inappropriate and pornographic material, framing it as a disgusting case of harassment, and painting herself as the poor victim. But here's what her lawsuit conveniently left out, some key context that changes everything. That so-called inappropriate image? It wasn't explicit at all. It was actually a still shot from a birthing scene. And why was it shown? Because, surprise, surprise, the film script had a childbirth sequence, and Jamie used a photo from his own wife's delivery as a reference for the scene. So where's the scandal, Blake? You out here are twisting the truth to fit a narrative that just doesn't hold up.
Because so often we see births in movies and TV, and they just look so fake. It's like a 3-month-old baby that comes out of, and I just wanted it to feel very real.
And get this, turns out the image Blake tried to spin as some explicit material was actually artistic and tastefully done, meant to highlight the beauty of childbirth. Ain't nothing remotely pornographic or harassing about it, honey. It was just a reference for a scene in the film, but Blake sure knows how to twist a story to make herself look like the victim.
Justin's business partner, who is a producer of the film, and he showed her a still shot from his wife's delivery of their child, which I've also seen. You can't see any R-rated parts at all. It's actually a really lovely artistic photo of a husband with his arms around his wife in a bathtub and the baby on top of the wife.
Ooh, Blake really went for the theatrics, didn't she? One of the wild accusations she tossed at Justin was that he made inappropriate comments about her weight and body, basically fat-shaming her. But wait, it doesn't stop there. Things got so out of hand that allegedly Ryan Reynolds called Justin to his penthouse where he gave him the old death stare and scolded him like a kid. But Sis wasn't done pulling in the big guns. She brought Taylor Swift into the mess too, allegedly using her to intimidate and manipulate Justin. And just when you think it can't get crazier, Blake went full-on Game of Thrones mode, calling herself the Great Khaleesi and claiming that Ryan and Taylor were her dragons. Yeah, I know. Cringe doesn't even begin to cover it. But wait until you hear how Megyn Kelly breaks it all down. It's like a whole other level of absurdity.
Ryan Reynolds comes off terribly. He had them over to their penthouse in New York, and Taylor Swift was believed to be there, according to this latest complaint, who's Blake Lively's BFF. And what they allege is that they blacked out a lot of names, but we think it's Taylor. That the three of them sat there and they berated Justin for things that were going on the set that they didn't like. They took control of the script. Blake personally, with Ryan's help, rewrote scenes. Again, not within the purview of an actress. And then after that, they have text messages in which Blake tells Justin, this is in the latest lawsuit, I know you've never watched Game of Thrones, but when you get around to watching it, you'll realize I'm Khaleesi and these are my dragons. And I have the best dragons in the business, right? Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift. And what they're alleging is that, let's face it, none of us has ever heard of Justin Baldoni before this whole thing. I mean, who the hell is he? I guess he's in some small thing I never saw. But she's saying, F with me and we'll crush you. My dragons and I, the biggest movie star, one of them in the planet, the biggest pop star in the planet, and I will hurt you.
And get this, turns out the image Blake tried to spin as some explicit material was actually artistic and all right. But hold up, maybe Blake didn't actually finish Game of Thrones, because last time I checked, things didn't end too well for Khaleesi, did they? But I digress. Let's get back to it. So yeah, Justin did ask his personal trainer how much Blake weighed, but of course Blake found out and blew that whole thing way out of proportion. And at this point, we all know the drill. Blake loves taking stuff way out of context. The real reason Justin asked, he's got some serious back issues, and there was a scripted scene where he had to lift Blake up. He needed to know her weight for one reason, safety. It wasn't about fat shaming or anything rude. It was a legit concern to make sure he didn't injure himself. Or more importantly, hurt Blake. So yeah, no body shaming here, just common sense and safety on set.
The alleged fat shaming that Ryan Reynolds went off on him over, that's all over her lawsuit that he's been excoriated for in the press, the left-wing press, was when he went to it was either his trainer or her trainer or the trainer on the set. And he asked how much Blake weighs. And that it was like, how dare he, right? How dare. Turns out Justin Baldoni, this has been documented, has serious disc issues and was actually in the hospital for like 2 months after this film wrapped because of his disc issues, and was worried because he had to pick her up in a scene.
Oh, but hold up. If you think that's the end of the story, baby, you're wrong. More leaked messages have completely obliterated Blake's wild accusations. These messages between Justin and Blake show just how supportive he was, especially when Blake was feeling insecure about her body after giving birth. In one message, Justin went out of his way to reassure her, showing nothing but kindness and empathy. But instead of appreciating that support, Blake flipped the script and twisted the whole thing into another scandal. Sis really loves to create drama where there isn't any, huh?
Well, now they've produced the text messages, Baldoni and team, in this latest lawsuit against her, showing Justin being like, don't worry about any of that. We can shoot any scenes that require, exposure toward the end of the movie when, you feel better about things. This is the last thing you should have to worry about. I got you, right?
Oh, and let's not forget this next accusation. Blake claimed there was no intimacy coordinator on set. Now, in case you're not familiar, an intimacy coordinator's role is kind of like a stunt coordinator. But instead of choreographing fight scenes, they make sure intimate scenes are handled safely and respectfully, creating a comfortable environment for the actors. So according to Blake's lawsuit, she said there was no intimacy coordinator, and that Justin Baldoni just improvised physical intimacy that was never rehearsed or discussed with her. But there's just one little problem. Her own lawsuit contradicts what she said in an interview, because in that interview, Blake herself confirms they did, in fact, hire an intimacy coordinator. So now, Sis is out here contradicting her own story, and it's not looking cute for her.
So talk to me about how sometimes you were even the intimacy coordinator in some of those sexier scenes. Like we saw you.
That shouldn't be happening, by the way. I just want to be clear that you should not be the intimacy coordinator. You should definitely hire intimacy coordinators, which we did have. Well, thank goodness.
You were teaching.
So Blake, which is it? Because the way she was talking before, She didn't seem all that pressed about whether or not there was an intimacy coordinator on set. And let's not forget, even long before she filed that lawsuit, Justin was out here openly praising Blake for taking full control of their intimate scenes. So it's not like he was trying to cover his tracks or play some sneaky game. If anything, he made it crystal clear that Blake had complete control over how things went down. Now, that's a pretty far cry from the narrative she's trying to push now, huh? The whole thing's just not adding up.
Honestly, there were many instances on set where I just let the women figure it out, and I took a step back and kind of jumped in more as an actor in those scenes than even as a director.
All right, let's dive into this lawsuit Blake dropped, because honey, it's falling apart piece by piece. She references this one particular slow dance scene, and here's how she frames it. Blake claims that no sound was recorded, making it convenient for her to twist the situation however she wants. But plot twist, Justin's lawyer dropped the actual footage from filming, and guess what? There's sound. This alone already shoots down Blake's whole claim. She also says Justin didn't act in character and spoke to her as himself instead. But let's keep it real, that's not unusual on a set. Sometimes actors break character, especially during a casual scene like a slow dance. It's not a crime. Now, the big one. She claims Justin leaned forward, dragged his lips from her ear down her neck and said, "It smells so good." But wait, when you actually watch the footage, it's not nearly as intense or inappropriate as she made it out to be. It's not a harassment moment, it's just an actor doing their job, folks. So Blake's whole narrative is being completely debunked. And it looks like she's trying to manipulate the story to fit a victim narrative. Watch the original footage and let us know. Does Justin really look like a villain here? Or is this more like Blake playing the victim, only for it to backfire big time? And let's not forget, Blake wasn't the only one out of character. At one point, they were casually talking about their spouses. Ain't nothing inappropriate about that. So now, when you look at the footage and the claims, what do you see? The whole thing's looking like a giant mess that Blake's trying to cover up.
For another.
If you should
I'm not getting beard on you today.
I'm probably getting spray tan on you. Well, it's not that. It's my body makeup.
Oh honey, this whole thing is wild. Now Blake is out here trying to slap Justin Baldoni and his lawyer with a gag order to stop them from releasing any more text messages or evidence that could expose her. I mean, really? She's out here trying to silence him like that? As if it's not her own actions that are putting her in the hot seat in the first place. But wait, here's the kicker. This move is only going to make her look even more guilty. Like sis, the more you try to shut down the truth, the more it's gonna come out. So what's your take on all this? Because I'm sitting here like, what's next? The drama is only getting juicier.
Now that she's had her shot against him and she's severely damaged him with that New York Times piece and this complaint, which she managed to get leaked, now she wants a complete gag order. Now he needs to be shut down to protect her. This is very unfair to poor Blake. Why should Justin be able to release snippets to the media without the full context? That's what she said. That's what she did.
So what do you guys think about all of this? Has Blake been straight up lying this whole time, playing the victim card, only for her so-called evidence to blow up in her face thanks to Justin Baldoni and Megyn Kelly's lawyer? Or is there actually some truth to her claims, and maybe she's the real victim in all of this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest celebrity drama. And of course, make sure to check out more of our videos covering the juiciest Hollywood scandals. You won't want to miss what's coming next.